Fragrance family, what's going on? It's your man Gator, better known as the Novice Nose out here in these fragrance streets. And guys, let's jump into it, man, because the scent of the day today is one that I've been excited about talking about, guys. Now, the fragrance we're talking about is from French Avenue. It's their newest one in the French Avenue line. It's called Obsidian. Now, French Avenue's been known to make some pretty good interpretations of the By Kilian fragrances, more specifically the Angel Share DNA. So when I saw this one, I was like, this might be a banger. Now, I was surprised a little bit that they didn't do it under the Royal Blend line, but as I smelled it, I kind of understood why. So now this is the bottle. Again, this is the Obsidian. Let me see if I can block my face, because you know the camera tries to go to my beautiful face here. There we go. Better look at that bottle here. Really cool looking design. Looks like a sword or knife in sheath or whatever. Top comes off like that. Pretty standard, pretty easy. Now, let me get a little spray here. Atomizer's, it's decent. It's a decent atomizer. It gets it done. Gets the job done, man. So, in talking about this fragrance, this one is inspired by Angel Share on the Rocks by Kilian, or by Kilian, I should say, which is a fragrance that when I first smelled it, I was captivated. Like, it was going to be, and probably still will be, one of my first Angel Share purchases, because the actual Angel Share DNA is nice, but I didn't think if it was anything that was just astounding and something that I just had to have in the collection. But the second I smelled Angel Share on the Rocks, I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and get with that. So this fragrance comes really close to that DNA, by the way. So let me get into the notes here. So the top notes are going to be aldahhides, grapefruit, and bergamot. We're going to get back to aldahhides in a second. Middle notes are going to be myrrh, labdanum, and jasmine. And then your base notes are going to be amber, tonka bean, and vanilla. Now, a lot of times people mention aldahhides and don't really talk about what they are exactly. So aldahhides are basically these chemical compounds that you add to a fragrance, and what it is it gives not necessarily a smell of something, but a smell that resembles something. For example, Angel Share on the Rocks, that DNA, the aldahhides in there give it an icy cool feeling, almost like they're in the vein of ice. Right? You can have some that are in the vein of sky. You see sometimes on Fragrantica, you'll see these notes that are ozone or, you know, that kind of thing. Those are aldahhides. They're just little chemical compounds that just kind of are added to a fragrance to kind of really beef up and accent some of the top notes of that fragrance, and to really kind of give it like a feel of being in a specific scenario, like being on ice, which is what Angel Share on the Rocks does. Those aldahhides make it give a cooling sensation to the citrus that comes in. No exception to this one. This has a fattening style of aldehyde at the top of this that really kind of accents this grapefruit in here to give it a really cooling, really like, you know, bright style, like type of feel here. So when you first spray it on, that's what you're getting. You're getting a bright, juicy style of citrus here, still kind of smooth, but really juicy with kind of an aldahdic, that's the way you say it there, an aldahdic vibe that's kind of giving it almost like an icy cool kind of vibe here when you spray it on. Now, that's one of my favorite things about the original. It's one of my favorite things about this one. They actually did a really good job in interpreting how you know, would use those aldahhides in here for the fragrance. Now, to me, this one comes across a tad bit sweeter in the citrus, but just a tad. Like, it's not something that's even really noticeable if you don't have them side by side. If you have them really side by side, which, you know, I test all mine side by side, you can kind of notice it. I will say that this one doesn't have the fatness. The aldahhides are a little bit fatter. The fragrance is a little bit denser in Angel Share on the Rocks than it is here. However, this is done really well. So it interprets that side of it well. The part that doesn't interpret as well here with the is the boozy nature. This one has a little bit of a boozy nature, nowhere near the same amount though as you would find in the By Kilian fragrance, which is one of the reasons why I'm really going to be jumping into getting that Angel Share on the Rocks, because I do like that aspect of that fragrance. You do get a little bit of the booziness though. This is not a one-to-one, of course, you know, no real inspired by fragrance really is for the most part, but that's one of the aspects of By Kilian fragrances that I really dig, is the booziness. This one has a little bit of it, but not the amount that I would be wanting from that fragrance. Now, or this DNA. Now, with this one lacks in booziness, it does make up for in sweetness and smoothness. So it really does have a really ambery style of fragrance nature to it here, going into the dry down. This is really nice. It comes across as a little bit more versatile than the original because of the fact that it is a little less boozy. So I feel like this is going to be more of a lean towards the unisex than even the original Angel Share on the Rocks would be. And like I said, the versatility is amped up a little bit because it's not just a dress up style fragrance. Because of the brightness at the top, because of the fullness of the ambers in here, it does allow for it to be dressed up, but also to be, you know, casual wear. You can also do it then. And it actually, like I said, kind of leans this one to being a little bit more of a unisex vibe too, when you wear this fragrance. I'm really digging the way that it imparts the facets from the original, but then kind of takes a little twist as it kind of goes into the dry down. Because one of the other things that I spoke about, you know, the sweetness, the vanilla in the tonka are really, really prevalent in this thing going into like that third and fourth hour. You're really getting, and actually earlier than that, around that second set, you know, 2.5 hours in, you start really getting an influence of the vanilla and everything, to the point to where after that like third, fourth hour, you're kind of just dealing with the vanilla scent, vanilla, amber, and tonka scent. No real like woody nature to this one like you would normally get like the Angel Share DNAs. This one kind of stays away from the woods and kind of goes more into the amber. That being said, I really dig this a lot. It is not a one-to-one to Angel Share on the Rocks, definitely. I'm still getting a bottle of that most, you know, definitely here. But this is actually going to be one that I will enjoy wearing a lot here in the upcoming months. Speaking of the upcoming months, we're talking about, you know, some cold weather that's going to be heading in. This one can actually cut through the cold. It's got enough thickness and density here to actually cut through the cold a good bit. As far as times of the year you can wear this, I think this is an all year fragrance, to be honest. I mean, the summertime, I would just kind of be careful maybe wearing on summer nights. Might be a little bit too cloying for summer days, but the brightness in here, the way they incorporate the brightness with the citruses and everything, and they give the amber and the florals in here not as much depth as you would find in a lot of super ambery fragrances, so it does allow for it to be a little bit more wearable in warmer weather. Projection performance wise, off the skin from the top, I get about an arm's length here. Sillage really pumps on this thing up until like that hour 6 and 7. I get about 8 to 9 hours on this one when I've worn it. It becomes a skin scent though, actually probably around that like hour 4 to 5. It's actually a pretty decent performer for what it is as far as the DNA goes. I'm really enjoying this one, and like I said, I look forward to giving a few more good wears on this one in the upcoming months, man. And I'm excited to see what this does in spring, because I have a feeling this has the DNA, the way it's set up, is gonna be a monster of a little sweet spring scent, man. Have you put your nose on this thing yet? Let me know in the comments, guys. And as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, share this video with somebody you know that loves fragrances, guys. And as always, no matter what you're doing, however you're doing it, make sure you make today the best day ever on purpose. Peace out.